Hi there everyone, hope you're all well. Just like to create a fun video like this to talk about period dramas, as I've just been watching the latest series of Bridgerton. And I have seen all 4 seasons of Bridgerton, and as Brits we're very good at period dramas. And now I'm a bit of a fan of period dramas, don't get me wrong. I like the old Sharp with Sean Bean tackling the aristocrats and the snobby super rich people of the Napoleonic Wars in the peninsula, Spanish peninsula. From Hornblower with the dashing young chap who tries to protect the waterways from Napoleon's evil French navy. A bit like Captain Kirk, but actually much easier in the eye to look at than William Shatner, no doubt. With good old Hornblower, good actor by the way. I've forgotten his name, I do apologise, but amazing actor, very good. He's Mr. Fantastic if you've seen Fantastic Four. But I've also liked things like not just military period dramas, things like Downton Abbey, Gilded Age, the Oneida Line, things like that. Even Upstairs Downstairs is another good period drama. Now, as Brits, we're very good at period dramas and very good at costume design and historical accuracy, usually. Even Wolf of Wolf Hall is very good for those sorts of things, and the actor, again, was very good at playing... Well, no, he portrays the role very well as Thomas Cromwell. However, I do think the actor should have been playing as Henry VII. He looks like Henry VII, which predates Thomas Cromwell. But anyway, one of the things I love about these period dramas is not only that the costume designs are very good, historical accuracy of the locations and so forth, but it also are affected by outside influences. A good example is like Sharp, for example. You deal with the battles in Spain and the Spanish Peninsula. You hear stories of what's going on in London. You hear stories about things in Paris as well. So outside influence are affecting Sean Bean and his chosen men. Downton Abbey is also a good example with the things with the First World War, dealing with that, going towards like the Great Depression during the interwar years. Mr. Suffrage is a good example with that one. A shop in London, and it's affected again with the Great War and women's rights and women's involvement in the workplace, which is brilliant. I think that's fantastic. It really is. It shows development, growth and change. However, with Bridgerton, Netflix's Bridgerton is interesting because it doesn't, in my mind, it does not come into any of those categories. It's a period drama, snobby-nosed rich people, and gossip. It's like it's a bubble, right? It's just a simple bubble with the super rich gossiping, whinging, whining. Every storyline is the same with a different person within the Bridgerton family up for marriage. But it's always the same formula every time, and it just doesn't appeal to me. It really doesn't. And to most historians and historic people who like historical accuracy, they wouldn't like it either because it's just so bad. You see all the cast, they're so fit, amazingly fit and well off, which isn't in fact accurate at all. I mean, you look at how buff the blokes are in comparison to a real Georgian gentleman, it's ridiculous. It does not match at all from the period. And a good example is if you want to compare Bridgerton to something like Hornblower, because they're roughly about the similar sort of period. Hornblower I would rate much more better, actually. Not only with cast and acting skills, but literally just by accuracy in itself. It's just so much better. And also the thing with Bridgerton, you do not see anyone really in the forces at all. You don't see any naval people. You don't see any army at all. Well, very little, none at all. It's always about super snobby, rich, noble people on the tongue, as they call it, and Queen Charlotte, just going, oh, gossip, gossip, gossip. Oh, I like to hear all the gossip, but she does nothing. There is literally nothing there. Honestly, there's no mention of the French Revolution, which was big in that period. Honestly, I wouldn't mind a revolution in that period of the Georgian era. But anyway, but I just do not get it, and every time it's always the same formula, and it just bugs me. It just does not work. When you look at Sharp, for example, with Sean Bean, okay, average, good-looking bloke of the time. You know, he was really, a lot of the ladies like him back then. They really did in the 90s. You know, he was very fit. Potentially, I would have thought he would be in the next James Bond, but of the time. And Sean Bean played the role beautifully well. However, Sharp originally was meant to be a Londoner. Wasn't meant to be a Yorkshireman at all. The original actor playing for Sharp couldn't make it because of a twisted ankle. And funny enough, that actor, in fact, was the he's the ninth Doctor, isn't he? Ninth Doctor, but he's also in Hornblower as Mr. Bush from Hornblower, who's Hornblower's second in command. And it's a shame, Hornblower, the TV series, why it got cancelled so early, because the dear actor would love to follow his career right up towards the rank of Admiral. He would love to have done that, and I wish, in many ways, if we had a new Hornblower film, recast the original members, if we can, if any of them are still alive, and do like Sharp's Big Hurrah. Hornblower's Big Hurrah. But with Bridgerton, and most period dramas following Bridgerton, it's just nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. It's just gossip for the sake of gossip. There's no outside influence. There's no mention of the French Revolution. There's no mention of any working class strikes and things like that. No, they don't care. They don't matter. No, of course not. Of course not. There's no mention of the normal person, the normal average Joe rising for the ranks of nobility or the military or anything like that. No, nothing. Just idle gossip from members of different houses within the Bridgerton universe, and that's essentially what it is. And how does that make good television? Because to my mind, you might as well be watching a period drama of Towie or Love Island. Although that could be interesting. A period drama version of Love Island, you can base that in good old Botany Bay, Australia. You can have Kylie Minogue in it if you want, because it'd be more accurate for starters, and not mentioned, Botany Bay happens to be a penal colony. You know, a prison, essentially. That's what Australia was. But I just do not get the formula of Bridgerton at all. The costumes are fantastic. I cannot stress that enough. The costumes are amazing. The locations to different places, like rich nobility housing, and even parts of Wilton House in Wiltshire is being used for that. But there's no mention of the outside world, no mention about the common working person rising through the ranks or any acknowledgement of that. It's just pure gossip. Nonsense and gossip. And that's why I just generally don't rate Bridgerton highly at all, compared to things like even the Eden line, for example. That was somebody, all right, a merchant navy captain rising for the ranks of being a good businessman, and James O'Needon does really well. He's had wife, scandals of mistresses, his sister with a illegitimate son, and you know, the Eden line was brilliant for that sort of thing. It had scandal, it had drama, it had action, it had a massive formula of all of that, and still outside influences of like the unification of Italy or the miners' strike and Isambard Kingdom Brunel's great inventions. They all were mentioned because it was set in the 1860s to 1870s. And the Oneiden line did super well with that. And it's a great cast, an amazing cast with great talent, actors, and even ships. They actually use real ships. Granted, every single location happened to look like Devon. Yeah, even when you're trying to do the Caribbean, it still somehow looks like Devon. You do Liverpool, it still looks like Devon. Everything, the world looked like Devon. It's ridiculous, which is a shame, really, because I love Devon. It's a beautiful county, and I'm originated from Devon, long time ago. But tell me what your thoughts about Bridgerton. What is it about Bridgerton you like? What is it about the casting do you like about it? What do you like about the costumes, the locations, storyline, plots? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would like to hear your views, very much so. Another good example of a good period drama, I would say, is Victoria. Bearing in mind, the actress on that played Clara from Doctor Who. I could be wrong. It might be. I think it is, actually. Sticking to my guns, I think it is. I thought the actress was very good, to be honest with that, and she wore the costume beautifully well. But tell me what you think and what your thoughts are. What do you think of Bridgerton? Do you think Bridgerton needs improving? Do you think Bridgerton needs to be cancelled? Because I just find it's just idle gossip. It has no place in TV anymore. It's just boring as hell in comparison to things like The Gilded Age, which is brilliant because that was created by the same chap who'd done Downton Abbey. And we love Downton Abbey. Highclere Castle as that fictitious place of Downton Abbey in Yorkshire, which, funny enough, Highclere is in fact in Hampshire, which is so south in the UK, it's ridiculous. But apart from that, the casting is brilliant. The characters are brilliant. The cars, the costumes, even Maggie Smith's amazing wit and her insults, they are just perfect for Downton Abbey. It was just amazing television. It really was. But Bridgerton, I just do not get it. Please, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Please follow my videos as much as possible. Subscribe if you like for some more insights. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and views about Bridgerton, very much so. Take care, all the best to you. Bye. Bye for now.